How's it going, everyone? This is GC Performance here, back with another video. And if you guys are clicking on this video, you guys are probably wondering which shoe you guys should buy in terms of sworks. And today I got all the shoes here for you. I got the original sworks 7, the sworks EXO, the sworks Vent, and the sworks Aries that just released. And I kind of want to talk about all 4 shoes and the pros and cons of each one, and at the end of it, which shoe I think you should buy for it. So starting off, I just want to say as well, a lot of this is very subjective because I've had customers on every single shoe, from the 7 to the EXO to the Vent to, not the Aries because they haven't been out yet, but in these 3 shoes, I've had people that bought them, loved them, completely said, these are the best shoes I ever bought in my life. I recommend them to everyone. These shoes changed my riding. They felt better. They're so much more comfortable. I've had people say that I hated these shoes. They're very stiff, uncomfortable. I had people buy these shoes, the Vents. They said that they're the most comfortable shoes they ever had in their life. Same with the EXOs. I tried these personally. I didn't like them. Then I have customers who ride them daily, and these are their daily shoes. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, everything is preference. But what I can just tell you is from my experience and the pros and cons and prices of each one. So starting off with it, this is the sworks 7 shoe. The shoe was released, I want to say, about like 3 years ago. Very nice shoe, aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Came out, I think when Kanto was still riding for Specialized as well. And also with Peter Sagan, they added this Achilles heel in the back, the lateral stiffness on here, so it's going to support your heel so that way it doesn't flex when riding back and forth, so there won't be as much lateral movement when sprinting or even in the saddle when putting down hard power. Your heel won't move back and forth with just a material like this. You see how that kind of squishes, so if you're sprinting or pedaling hard, you might not get as much support back here, so your foot can flex and you'll lose some power. These on here have the new BOA S3s that Specialized redesigned. They are metal machined, I think, alloy BOA with a kind of BOA wire, a dual system so you can tighten up the top or the bottom if you're getting ready for a sprint, and then you have your little toe strap down here, which in my opinion has never done anything for me in my life. Every time I go to tighten it, it just stays in the same spot. I don't even know why. It'll rip off the Velcro because I literally pull on it and it goes right to the same spot. Otherwise, on the bottom of the shoe, they have an S-Works carbon sole. It is their stiffness index 15, which is the first year that they ever did this. The previous model, I think, were 13. A very, very stiff shoe, and also the bolts are titanium on there as well. You have that little bit of a drainage port or vent port right there. Other than that, you have a little bit of a walking heel right there. But very nice, fast race shoes. I mean, these were meant for the high end. This is what the pros are riding the Grand Tour. They're crazy shoes. They retail for $400, then they got a price range of $425 later on down the road. The only thing that I've ever heard customers say was that the stiffness index, when it first came out, it caused a lot of hot spots. So the previous model shoe, like I said, was 2 levels under. I think it was a 13 stiffness index. So what that means is that the carbon fiber on there might have been a little bit softer, more compliant. So when you're pushing down power, and let's say you have a high arch, or you're just your foot, whenever you're pushing that power, your foot would sometimes kind of roll because you have an arch. Your foot will kind of collapse in on itself and kind of roll. So what it can do is it can cause power on that big toe or that big ball of your foot right there. It can cause hot spots on a significant area because it's so stiff. With a stiffer sole, you get more power out of it. You got to think there is no flexing in this shoe. When you push on power, it's not going to go anywhere. So people were complaining that it was a little bit too stiff. There's not as much give as the previous S-Works 6 shoe, but a lot of the pro guys, a lot of the guys who are competitive, they enjoyed it. But people who enjoyed S-Works products, who had money, that are more casual riders, they said it was uncomfortable. So my take on it, very clean looking shoe aesthetically. They have a bunch of different colors. What I heard from that these 2 shoes, the S-Works 7 and the EXOs, are going to be no longer. They're only going to carry the Vent and the Aries, maybe an 8. I have no idea. I don't know why they make an 8, but whatever. But this is going to be more like the race shoe, and this is going to be more like their enthusiast shoe. We'll get into that later on. So then we go to the S-Works EXO, the lightest shoe that they ever made. They made a limited edition of these of 99 grams, I think, for the shoe, for one solid shoe. These, I think, weigh in 139 grams. As you can see, there's literally nothing to them. It looks like a trash bag with just a massive carbon sole on the bottom. Stiffness index is going to be the 13, similar to the S-Works 6 shoe that I have on here, and just one bow on top. Very comfortable. They are a very, very comfortable shoe. It just snugs up, and like I said, it kind of just feels like a sock on there. What I did not like about it is that I have very wide feet. I have a bunion that sticks out, and when I put it on, my bunion and my wide pinky toe would kind of stick over the carbon edge of it, and one, aesthetically, it didn't look good. I'll tell you that much. And two, See that kind of dent right there as well? My big toe, because I have nasty looking feet, would cause that as well. And it just didn't look aesthetically cool to me. So that really did it for me, that I didn't like the way it looked. Obviously, you want to look good while riding. But two, when riding, I didn't feel like I got a lot of support while riding. I'm a bigger guy. I was putting down whatever kind of power, you know, just normal power that I put down, whatever. But I kind of felt like these are very loosey-goosey. So when I stood up out of the saddle to sprint, when I stood up to close the gap, whenever I just kind of moved around, put down power, I felt my foot rolling around a lot and not getting the support I needed. $500 for a shoe. Wasn't the biggest fan of it, but again, I've had customers who say they absolutely loved them. You can see they have a little bit more vent on them. I have a bunch of older riders, like plus 60, plus 70, who absolutely love these shoes. They do casual riding, not big bursts of speeds, but they're just, it feels like a sock on their foot. So very cool looking shoe. Wasn't for me, but on to the next. Then the Vent was born. This is the S-Works Vent shoe. It's basically very similar to the 7 aesthetically. Same boas, same graphic design, same Achilles heel or heel support for the lateral movement, but they changed the bottom of the sole. It's the same sole as the EXO. It's an S-Works carbon sole with a stiffness index of 13. You have the vent on the bottom, boom, boom, bada bing, boom. Titanium bolts, again, but what those vents do, they cause airflow, which will reduce foot swelling, so your foot won't heat up as much, especially here in South Florida. You have a bunch of airflow on the sides here, a bunch of airflow on the sides here, and also here. Big benefit to me when I try these on, my bunion or whatever the heck it is on my foot, when I put them on, very comfortable. I didn't get any rubbing on here. It just kind of formed around your foot, kind of like a body glove. Super comfortable. And also, like I said, the 13 index on the bottom really did feel like the S-Works 6 shoe again, and kind of felt just more natural. It didn't feel like a high-end Ferrari, like a sports car where like you're banging gears. When you turn, you feel every bump and stuff like that. It felt like an M7 or M5 performance. Like it's like a luxury sedan with some power behind it. So if you're looking for a normal shoe to ride around in, that's very comfortable. The S-Works Vent is amazing. Downside to it is, not in Florida, but downside is to it, if you're riding in cold weather at all, these shoes are insanely freezing. You have to get toe covers for sure, wool socks for sure. But even in Florida where it gets like 40, 50 degrees sometimes, my feet were freezing in them. So I did ride them, uncomfortable to wear. But in terms of every other day in Florida, these are the shoes to wear because there is extreme heat in Florida. Your feet will swell up, they kind of get irritated, you get some hot spots in there. These have the ventilation to help that. They don't cause your feet to sweat as much. So very nice shoe. Like I said, it's like a luxury sedan with some power behind it. Comfy and affordable. $425 for these. Not a bad price tag. And like I said, they're going to keep these, I think, and the Aries, which we'll go and talk about the Aries now. Brand new shoe they just released, $425. Looks fast, looks like a soccer cleat, like those soccer boots with that raised sock looking thing to give you a little bit more ankle support. Looks like a basketball shoe. Nothing new to the athletic world. You still have that same heel support back here to snug your heel up and let you give you that lateral support. With this sock as well, it is very tight and very stiff to get your foot into here. But once you do actually get in there, the toe box is very wide. They opened the toe box in the front, made it a lot wider. Like I said, I have wide feet. When I put it in there, I actually had a lot of room to swim around in. I enjoyed it a lot. These are true to size as well. I wear 44.5 in all these shoes. I wear 44.5 in this one, and I tried on this one. It's the same thing. But literally for the 20 seconds, a literal 20 seconds, it was a struggle to get my foot in here because I have a wide foot. Once I did, I got in there. Someone asked me if they're going to make a wide and narrow shoe in these. As of right now, I haven't seen it, but I know they make a wide and narrow shoe in the Vent. So again, they give you more accommodations for these. New boas on here. You can see a little bit lighter boas, a little bit more hug support from boas. Yes, you have this whole sock to give you kind of a form fitting on the shoe and more support, but then you have this straps on here that go this way and strap on this way. You get the boas that will tighten down to give you a bunch of lateral support to prevent foot roll, to prevent lateral movement. And what that does is when you're preventing lateral movement from the foot, when you're putting down power and you're preventing that arch collapse, it's going to drive power forward. So benefit to the consumer as well. But they brought back the stiffness index of 15. So this is a heavy race shoe. Not heavy race shoe, but like this is a race shoe. It's meant to go fast. It's meant to be ridden fast, and it might be a little stiff at first. You have the same bottom layout as the S-Works 7. You got titanium bolts. You got that one little drain port right there for foot sweat. The S-Works logo on the bottom and that little heel on there. And then, yeah. What else am I going to say on here? Yeah, you have the boa. Yeah, you have the boa down here. I do like this. Like I said, this is an upgrade from this little flappy thing. Like I said, whenever I Velcro that down, it didn't go nowhere. So $425, I like the price point. Thank God they didn't give it that S-Works price tag raise that's been going on through this pandemic, where Specialized is completely out of touch with the whole world and customers, where they're just raising prices for no reason. But $425 is not unreasonable because it's been there in the past. So at least thank you for that, for keeping that there. But you do get a lot of support. I tried them on. It feels comfortable. It feels like you're wearing a sock. When walking around in them, it felt stiff. But never, and I don't even know if anyone's watching at this point. When you go to the store, this drives me freaking insane, and you try on a cycling shoe, and you walk in it, and you say your heel pops out of the back. Yes, it's going to do that because this whole shoe is stiff. So they're not meant to be walked in. I hate when people try on a cycling shoe and they walk around it. You're not going to get any kind of results out of it. It's not meant to have any movement like that. There's not supposed to be any bend in the arch. So take that in mind. $425. These are the two shoes to go with. This is like your Ferrari sports car race. You get 1%. This is the 1% faster than every single shoe they ever made in the history of Specialized. It's going to give you that advantage in terms of finishing on a sprint, a race, a time, whatever you want. This is going to be the fast Ferrari, the Lamborghini, the sports cars. This is going to be like that Mercedes AMG C63, BMW M5. Very comfortable luxury sedan with some kick behind it. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next video. Bye.